Hello, my thesis topic is Education through Design, Decreasing Sensory Overload and Improving Student Focus, and today we'll be looking at site strategy. First, going over the thesis statement. This thesis investigates how the layout and spatial organization of school architecture can be deliberately shaped to respond to the environmental needs of students within an urban context. By organizing program circulation, spatial relationships according to varying levels of noise, activity, and focus, this project proposes a school in which each space supports a specific type of learning or social interaction occurring within it. The site is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, depicted in red. It sits at the intersection where the Ohio, Allegheny, and Mongolia River meets. This creates important considerations for preservation and river views within the site zone. Primary roads also converge at this location, reinforcing it as a focal point at the center of downtown Pittsburgh. The site primarily consists of two-way streets with on-street parking near the Rachel Carson Bridge. 9th Street and Fort Tuscany Boulevard form an intersection of one-way lanes connecting to 10th Street bypass. Existing cap property is 22,770 square feet, and the adjacent expansion property totals to 47,800 square feet. A bus lane on Penn Ave serves student drop-off, as public transit buses remain on their designated routes and do not pull directly to the school. 9th Street functions as a two-way street with parking used by staff, deliveries, and parents. Fort Tuscany Boulevard forms a busy connection to the 10th Street bypass. Across 9th Street is a vacant property entrusted to the school that is currently unused. The proposed site plan uses this vacant property to incorporate a middle to preschool, further expanding the school's capacity and grade levels. Adjacent to the new school on the property is also school grounds that will be accessible for both schools to give outdoor opportunity for students, something that is currently missing. 9th Street will also be redeveloped, switching the street parking to the other side of the street, which allows for more parking spaces, totaling to 36 spaces compared to the previous 29. Replacing the existing street parking will be a new bus lane to give direct drop-off to both schools, improving travel time and safety for students who need to take public transit. Represented is the 9th Street as it exists. The new 9th Street section shows the added bus lane and change of parking direction. The streets, although become smaller, the new school will have a designated school sidewalk for students, and this will split them away from pedestrian circulation as well as create a buffer for the school. The entrusted property is located in a high-sensory downtown area near the existing school. As expansion occurs, these conditions must be addressed to support student well-being. The primary source of noise and traffic are the Fort Tuscany Boulevard intersection and a nearby community art space hosting concerts and events. Mapping out the decibel average of the site will help understand how to lay out the program, use of acoustic buffer interventions where needed, and where to pull the school away from. Buildings that are adjacent to the property buffer noise, creating quieter areas, while the community art space intersection will be louder areas. Noise is not the only concern. Visibility also affects students. Intersections and event spaces can be visually distracting, while surrounding buildings may block views and limit daylight access. However, upper floors provide west-facing views toward the Allegheny River, which can be shown as supporting views. Maximum building height is important, as distractions lessen on higher floors, encouraging vertical development. A 7.5 out of 1 floor area ratio allows significant scaling of the lot area. Zoning also requires 10% of urban open space for any building 20,000 square feet. Noise mapping informs how massing and program placement respond to surrounding sensory conditions. Focused, immersive, and active spaces can then be mapped accordingly. As previously discussed, the building massing will be set back from the 9th Street to create a secure student path of travel and incorporate trees for sensory mitigation. The corner of 9th Street and Fort Tuscany Boulevard, identified as the highest traffic and loudest area, will also be pushed back. The lobby will be located at this corner, mirroring the current high school lobby and improving circulation by maintaining the same direction of travel for students dropped off along 9th Street. The building height will remain below the maximum 7.5 floor allowance to align with surrounding structures. The school grounds will be positioned closer to the community event space, as outdoor environments are more adaptable and less sensitive to noise than interior academic spaces. This placement also shifts the main school building further away from the most active areas. The new K-8 school totals 307,000 gross square feet, 17% larger than the existing high school. This increase allows for expanded programs, including a gymnasium. The grounds will feature a 100-meter track, an amphitheater for performance practice, and a flexible outdoor learning space. More into that outdoor learning space located in the school grounds, adjustable walls will be used to control what is visually and auditorily blocked from designated area. Increasing the curvature of these walls enhances sensory buffering. Trees incorporated throughout the school grounds will also function as natural buffers, helping to reduce noise from more active programs on the site, as well as from surrounding elements such as the nearby community art space. The school has direct access outside from 3 of its sides. While being blocked on the south side, fire stairs will need to account for the obstruction. For common use, a central stairway to an open atrium will create social space, creating a hub for interaction and collaboration without disrupting focused learning, improving the social barriers. A new bus lane adjacent to both schools reduced travel time to under 2 minutes from drop-off, compared to the previous 6-minute walk. The middle to preschool grounds will be accessible to high school students within a 4-minute walk. The loading dock is located on Fort Duskin Boulevard, where student traffic is lower than on 9th Street. The current school serves grades 6 through 12 and enrolls about 900 students through an application process. With expansion, it will become a 9th through 12th high school, potentially allowing application exemptions for students from the new K through 8th school. The K through 8th school will not require an application, expanding access and developing student skills earlier. Both schools will emphasize dance, theater, visual arts, and music with addition of physical education supported by a gymnasium and outdoor track. Highlighting parts of the section, the auditorium is centrally located and buffered from street noise by being wrapped within the building mass and positioned adjacent to the existing south structure. The second and third floors contain presentation space oriented toward Allegheny River views, immersive classrooms, student services, and staff areas. The fourth floor includes additional classrooms, river-facing presentation spaces, and administration offices. Staff areas on the second floor through the fourth floor face the school grounds to allow supervision while remaining separated from student zones. The summer sun path is directly above the school, which can be beneficial for solar panel use. The school will incorporate solar panels to fuel radiant heating and cooling systems, which are quieter than normal HVAC systems. The winter sun faces the school grounds, which can allow for sunlight exposure to students outside, which can keep students warmer during the winter. Vegetation is also allowed to mitigate sound, visual, and also wind during especially the winter time. Going further into the solar sound mitigation, the radiant solar electric system reduces interior mechanical noise by 15 to 25 decibels compared to the conventional forced air systems, which can be highly distracting in a classroom setting, creating acoustically stable learning environments. The site is located in a medium-rise area near apartments, which house many of the students that go to the school. Art spaces that identify with the school as well. A medium-rise area also allows for easier walkability compared to high-rise area. The site, although in a medium-rise area, is very close to high-rise zone, which can create heavy traffic on 9th Street and Penn Ave, being the streets facing the high-rise zone, especially during rush hour, as the high-rise areas usually have the office buildings. The earlier dated years, such as 1630 and 1800, show the significance of the Allegheny and Mongolia rivers to Pittsburgh, used as early settlers' survival and trading. Understanding Pittsburgh's reliance on the river back then shows why preservation to the rivers is so important, not just for the current use, but for the historic value of the rivers. In 1900 to 1950, performance in schools are founded, with the Kappa High School being established in 1979. In 2020, efforts of preservation and contemporary architecture are more involved, such as an old factory being converted to museums, such as the mattress factory. Now, going over, lastly, the site criteria picked. So first, the environmental sensory risks. Ambient noise levels should be manageable through site design and building orientation, ensuring comfortable environments for learning and social activities. So it cannot be in the path of an airport, near an airport, or directly adjacent to a train. This will be too unmanageable to mitigate. Community context. The school reflects the community and location's primarily identity and its physically situated within them. So this essentially means that the city shares the same identity with the school, and the school is also located within the dense area of the city for access for the students living there. Utility and infrastructure availability. Access to water, sewer, electricity, and communication networks should be available to support building and site systems without major offsite extensions. Zoning. The site must allow for institutional, educational, or mixed-use development under local zoning regulations. Safety. Sidewalk, infrastructure, crosswalks, and safe pedestrian circulation should be available. The site should allow for control of indoor environmental conditions such as a temperature of 68 to 72 degrees, ability for natural ventilation daylight to meet comfort. Dense city location. The site should be in an urban area with a population density exceeding 50,000. Outdoor green space. The site either has or has potential for an outdoor green space for students' use for well-being. Transportation. The site must have either public or school transportation to get to the site for students. Parcel size and expansion capacity. The expansion capacity considers whether the site permits future growth through adjacent parcel or vertical additions. The option for a site that allows for significant future growth will be important to structure a new school system. And then lastly, I wanted to end it off by showing the present context that relates to the Kappa Schools programs, representing the primary significance of the connection between the school and Pittsburgh. Thank you.